That is a Nissan Leaf, and for those of you who've been asking me to get my hands on an electric vehicle, can't say fairer than that. Our Leaf is charging this simple access card. You do that with it. It knows who you are. So when I got here, it was late 50%. As you saw in the video, it was charging for 3 minutes. It's already up to 67%. And I've boosted the range from about 140 odd to nearly 170 kilometers. So in that quick charge from the supercharger. The other cool thing is there's an ESP app, so you just refresh your location. And obviously then you can browse around different parts of Dublin or wherever you are. So obviously I've zoomed quite far out. You're going to get, you know, if you were leaving from Roscommon and you wanted to go to Claremorris, there's nothing really there. But it's not the worst penetration for chargers. One good thing that's very useful is it has the maps for where you have your nearest charging points. And saying charging station, it's now searching, and it has told me that the nearest ones are right there. Obviously that is dependent on data and your maps being up to date, but it will keep you in the know in terms of where you can go to charge your Leaf. These are the two chargers you get with the Leaf. One's the faster one is to connect into your actual house beside your lampshade. Go ahead, punk, make my day. You really can whisper inside the Nissan Leaf. That's how quiet it is. Shh, shh. Reminds me of that Bjork song. God, that was awful. Awful is not what the Nissan Leaf is though. Woo! The torque in this car is insane. But around the world, the Nissan Leaf, combined with all models sold, has done an incredible 4 billion kilometers. First thing you notice when you look at it is it's not a particularly unusual looking car. It doesn't scream the future or electric at you, which is a good thing in my opinion. Sure, there are people I'm sure who want to be shouting from the rooftops that they are going green and helping the environment, but having said that, I think there's a lot to be said for if normal people are to embrace electric cars, then the cars have to look within reason normal enough. So this is 150 brake horsepower. It does 0 to 60 in a little over 7 seconds, and you can buy one brand new for €28,000. The grant is applied before you take your Leaf home. 0% BIK on electric vehicles, 50% off the M50 on tolls. It all sounds too good to be true, but it's not. Sure, our network system is not the May West. We could do with a better charging network. That's not Nissan's fault, that's the Irish government's fault. Road tax, €120. Now, naturally enough, you will get people saying, okay, hang on, you've got to pollute the earth to build an electric car. Of course you do. But that is a pretty weak argument in my opinion, unless you're never going to buy a car ever again. There is definitely the argument for we are charging a car like a Leaf predominantly off fossil fuel generated energy in Ireland. We have a lot of wind, we're talking a lot of wind. We need to get on with those turbines, get them moving more. For some strange reason, you can't maneuver the steering wheel the way you can with traditional cars. So you can move it up and down, but you can't bring it closer to you. It's a little bit annoying. Not quite sure why it does that. Also, the automated systems, so Nissan have a thing called ProPilot in the Leaf, and it will do a lot of the usual stuff. It will keep up with traffic, warn you when you're going to change lanes, all that stuff. But once or twice, and once on the M50, this car brake checked the person behind me because it thought I was trying to switch lanes and at the same time avoid a vehicle, and it fairly much hammered the brakes on for me. So I think the technology is quite good, but lanes on motorways in particular can just confuse the car. Also, the pillar over that side of the car, there's your usual A pillar, but then you have a subframe coming off it. It does give you a pretty little window, however, it kind of restricts your view in that way. It's quite chunky and large. Make it smaller. Put it on a diet, Nissan. Range anxiety is something that we just need to get over. This model does twice the distance of the last Nissan Leaf, and the way things are going in technology, it kind of goes without saying that the next Leaf again will probably double it. As it stands, this car will do, give or take, 265 kilometers from a full charge. That will allow you to have all your optional extras ticking away, including your climate control, and that's the range on that. There is an eco button that you can press, and that will, again, just with the click of that, has given me an extra 13 kilometers. But seriously, with a range of 265 kilometers, for anybody who's living in a city, it really isn't. You might as well just forget about range anxiety. It does not exist. When you order an electric car, you get the option of having an ESB fitted charger in your front garden. Once you have off-street parking, they will fit it for you. And with that, you're never really going to be relying on any sort of public charging anyway. But the option is always there. And while the charging network isn't amazing, it can only get better. The performance in it is really incredible. Like, it's Golf GTI type 0 to 60 time. It handles pretty well. It's quite a small, nimble car. You definitely fit comfortably 4 adults into it. 5 would probably be a stretch. There's Isofix clips in the front passenger seat as well. I've only ever seen that in one other car so far. That was the Mazda MX-5, and that's kind of because it has to. So you could get 3 infants securely fitted in this car with those 3 Isofix. The type of technology that is featured in this, yes, you have your speed sign recognition, but the Leaf goes one further. The Leaf's cameras are constantly monitoring road signs on your journey, and if it sees a different sign to what the GPS and the sat-nav data has, it will update it from the camera. So if you're in roadworks and they've changed the speed sign, the Leaf will figure it out for you. So should you buy one? Well, in my experience, anytime a vehicle has been particularly torquey, and that in my lifetime has been diesel, it really is addictive how quickly cars with high levels of torque move, and just that squeezing of the throttle to make it take off never gets boring. And with an electric vehicle, it is there from literally the second you squeeze the accelerator. It's unbelievable. So the e-pedal is something that is standard on all Nissan Leafs, and how it works is you simply take your foot off the accelerator as you're coming up to a junction or as you feel you need to brake. It doesn't take too long to get to grips with how it works. Your left foot becomes redundant and everything, and it just makes it a bit more relaxing and enjoyable. The day Nissan have an electric Qashqai, it's game over for a lot of diesel and petrol, but especially diesel Qashqais. You just simply won't need them anymore. The torque, it's amazing. It's amazing to think that this car is running on a few batteries. The guy went past me earlier on a horse and cart, and he said to me, sure, we're nearly zero emissions ourselves. But that's the thing, they're not fully zero emissions because it has to come out the other end. This car truly is. If the Leaf is this good now, I can only be optimistic for the future when it comes to electric vehicles, because Nissan, for a small, compact electric car of the people, it's not perfect, but they've got an awful lot right with it. Thank you for sticking with me on this episode of Nobby on Cars. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.